YouTube, what is going on? Northeast Ohio Sports Cards. Here for a little NBA market video. I know we got the weekend review tomorrow, but I wanted this to be its own thing and not get cluttered up with all the other stuff. Because there's some interesting things happening that I just kind of wanted to chat about this fine Saturday morning or whenever you're watching this. Recording this just in case something crazy happens, because this is the NBA, and who the hell knows. Friday night, right before a tip-off of Lakers Pelicans. So Zion breaks a leg or something tonight. I do not know that happened yet. But YouTube stuff down below. Smash the like button, hit the sub button, notification bells, all that jazz. We're mostly going to be working on market movers today. Actually, we're only going to be working on market movers today. So links to all that are down below if you want access to all these fancy charts and graphs yourself. Check it out. Highly recommended. I will only, if you ever hear me back a product, whatever it is, I will only back something that I use. I have turned away at least 5 sponsorship opportunities for sports card related adjacent things. And they are all things that I do not believe in, did not like the look of them or whatever. If I don't use it, I won't pitch it. So if you ever hear me talking about something, it's because I use it and like it, not just because they pay me for it. So if the stars align and it's a product that I use, like market movers, like Star Stock, I will gladly offer a promo code or an affiliate link. The Amazon affiliate links down below are all things that I personally use. So I'm not necessarily in this for the money. It's a nice little side hustle to help buy some more cards that I normally wouldn't be able to buy outside the normal budget. Beyond that, this is not my main job. So I am not desperate for every little sponsorship opportunity out there. Whatever I end up pitching you, you can guarantee it's something that I use. So let's dig into the NBA market. So I was nosing around in market movers like you do. And I personally like one of my favorite places to begin whenever I'm just kind of poking around, seeing what's going on, is the price movements by card chart, sorted by sport. And then I like to clean things up a little bit more. And I usually throw on a PSA 10 grade from the filter. So there's all different filters you could choose from, and it helps clean the chart up. The reason why I like using PSA 10s is because raw prices vary too much. Because the individual condition of the card, PSA 10s typically have a more stable market. It's easier to see trend lines, etc., and not get bad data. Still happens, but less frequently. And then my other favorite thing to do is sort by number of sales for a given period. Because that kind of shows you who's hot in the market. And once again, not every single card is in market movers, not by any chance, but a lot of them are in there, and most of the popular ones are in there. So you get a good feel for what's going on. So I pull up the old NBA chart, look at the last 7 days, sort by sales like I do. Zion PSA 10 Prism is at the top. That is not surprising at all. Kobe White is right after that. Semi-surprising, but he's been trendy lately. And then we have Luka, Trey, Ja, etc., etc. All what I would expect to see. That is not what, I don't want to say this caught me off guard, but maybe go, What made me do that is that very bright color red. Let me zoom in. Hold on. Comments are going to yell at me. Is all this red. So red's bad. Red means it's going down. Green means it's going up. So let's take a little scroll here, shall we? And we're just going to scroll. There's some more red, some more red. A green. Holy hell, we found a green. Tyler Hero. Not surprising. Jimmy Butler, basically the entire team has COVID. And Tyler Hero is dropping 30 to 40 a night as basically the only player that they have. Red, 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 red. Some green. Kobe. Kobe stuff's been going crazy. Jordan stuff's been going crazy. Not surprised to see that. Red, 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 red. A little bit of green. Red, red. Green. A couple greens. Bunch more red. You get the point. that's a lot of stuff going down the last 7 days. Let's look at 14 days. Sort by number of sales again. Of course, it sorted it backwards. Once again, Zion tops the charts. And as we scroll on down, oops, that only made it 10 per page. Let's go 50 per page. Begin to scroll down. We have Luka Hoops up 1%. Jordan, Kobe. Ja Morant, barely. More Jordan. Look at all the red. So, what's going on? I don't know for sure. I'm guessing this is just the natural pullback from the peaks that we saw in the preseason. I made at least one video, if not two, about this in the lead up to the NBA season. That in most cases, most might be a little too strong of a word, but in a lot of cases, the player's value right at the beginning of the NBA season could potentially be the highest value that their cards hold. And we just saw this when I did the NFL video last week, where throughout the season, and I don't think it'll be this extreme, but if you pinpointed everything right from the beginning of the season all the way through, everyone went down basically in the NFL. Now, NBA is not NFL. They are apples and oranges. You can only take so much from one market to the other. The NBA is a global market. Football cards are not. Football revolves mostly around quarterbacks. NBA, bigger player pool, way more traffic, etc., etc., etc. So my thought here is that this is the normal pullback from the peaks of the preseason. This NBA season's been weird. There's been a bunch of cancellations. There's been a bunch of star players missing games. The big few players have come out of the gate relatively flat. Tatum was playing very well, COVID list. Zion's been fine, but he has not been rookie year Zion. The hype's there, but I don't know. The Zion buzz seems to have worn off, and I know a lot of people are take it or leave it on Zion. Like myself. Ja was going absolutely bonkers. And I think he would have passed Zion's prices already, but he got hurt and lost 20% of his value. Luka came in like Pillsbury Doughboy and is playing his way into shape. Now, his last couple games, he's looked pretty good. And they just got the zinger back. So I could see the Mavs beginning to turn the corner here a little bit. Giannis and the Bucks have been fine. I think they're first place in the East or maybe second, but they're up there. And they Giannis to me just looks like he's essentially going through the motions for Giannis. Now that's still Giannis going through the motions is still a very high bar to clear, but he's not like lighting the world on fire. Your number one MVP candidate on the season is probably Nikola Jokic. His stuff is up on the season. He just didn't make it because the sales charts are skewed towards most sales. And his stuff is low pop count. So there's just not a lot of his stuff that moves in a given period of time. But if I looked him up specifically, his stuff would be up. So there are players that are up, but the ones that are trading the most are not. Trae Young had a big run up in the preseason, dipped, went right back up again because he came out balling, and then has cooled off a little bit. And this is a very cyclical, not cyclical, might not be the right word, overreactionary market that wants to jump at every little thing that happens. And Star Stock kind of fuels that. Star Stock's not driving the market, but you see it to the nth degree on Star Stock. And the regular market does the same thing. It's just slower because of the natural process of buying and selling in the real life markets. And there's way more cards available, et cetera, et cetera. So I think this is just normal stuff given what is currently going on in the NBA. Do you agree or do you disagree? Are you panicking? Are you like, oh my God, the NBA market's falling apart. This is the end of the world. Or do you agree with me that this is just going to be a weird year when, Tatum just randomly misses 2 weeks because of the Rona. And it just kind of is what it is. And maybe that's a buying opportunity. Look at Ja, for example. Ankle sprain, out for a few weeks. I was very curious to see if he was going to play on Friday night. He was questionable for the game, but it got canceled due to the Rona because Karl Anthony Towns and part of that, the Timberwolves, have COVID now. So I am viewing these as buying opportunities. I bought a handful of Jaws, 3 specifically. 2 of them you guys have saw already, the Purple and the Revolution, and I just purchased another one that is coming. And I noticed, and I think I'm going to cover this in Sunday's video since we're kind of doing an NBA deep dive here. It looks like, based off the news of him being questionable, his price has basically bottomed out today. I don't know that for sure yet, but it appears that his stuff has bottomed out today. So I think from here on out, it's going to upswing back up, assuming he plays. But the fact that he was upgraded to questionable makes me think he's coming back. Some other hot players that came out fast that have since cooled off. Sexland, my personal favorite. They're both hurt. They were huge winners in the first couple weeks of the season. Their card prices were going crazy. Sexton twisted an ankle. Garland has a dinged shoulder. Okay. RJ Barrett came out on fire, dudded for a week, had another big game, dudded again. I think that's just RJ Barrett. Kobe White kind of did the same thing. I caught a lot of flack for this. He wasn't doing anything. Then he was on fire. Now he's not doing anything again, and his card prices are back down again. I think that's just going to be Kobe White, guys. He's going to be streaky like this, at least for this season. What else has been going on? That's really the big stuff, but it was just startling to pull up this chart and scroll. Michael Porter Jr., another one. Fan favorite, card market favorite, down 24% the last 2 weeks. We'll scroll down this really quick. So we're looking at 14 days worth of data. And this is just currently sorted by number of sales. So nothing crazy. Zion base Prism is number 1, down 15%. We're not going to cover every one of these, but let me just scroll down and see the interesting ones. RJ Barrett, Prism base, down 20%. Not surprising given the way that he's been playing. The famous LeBron James 27th year Lakers rookie Prism championship or bust card is down 20% to under $100. Boy, the wild swings of that card last year. More Zion, down 20%. Luka base Prism. Oh, this is 2019. Sorry. Down 12%. Where was Luka 18? Luka 18 and Trey. So Luka's been basically flat since the start of the season. I think he was actually dipped down a little bit more, but he's beginning to play well. So I could see his stuff beginning to turn around. And I think Trey Young is like a 30-point a game week away from his prices going just batshit crazy again. Tyler Hero in general on the 7-day chart, he was up quite a bit. On the 14-day chart, he's actually still down, but he's been playing quite well. I really think Tyler Hero's biggest problem is when that team is fully healthy, he just doesn't get enough shots. I know he went ballistic in the playoffs, but a lot of that was because Goran Dragic was hurt. But with the Dragon, him and Butler, it's really hard for him to get enough quality looks to have big games to pop constantly. But he has looked pretty good when he does get chances. Once again, more Zion going down. Anything else notable on here? Michael Porter Jr., as we mentioned, down 24%, mostly because he's on the COVID list. I really think like guys like this, in my opinion, are a buying opportunity because I think they're going to come back. And if they play well, their stuff's going to go right back up again. Ja Morant's going to be the test case for this. And this is why I was fascinated when the Morant injury happened, because I wanted to see how the market reacted to it, how long it took the market react to it, and how long the market reacts to it once he comes back and assuming that he plays at Ja Morant-like level. So he's been out for a little over 2 weeks. That injury happened, I believe, on December 28th. This is January 15th at the time of this recording. And he is basically down 20-ish% as of this morning's data. It looked like today he got down to the low 600s, like 625 to 650. right before I started recording this, there was an auction ending in about 20 minutes that was already up to 700. I'm assuming that's based on the news that he was probably going to play today. Or if not, he's going to be back very soon. So is that the expected, a 20 to 25% dip when someone's out for a few weeks? So we have MPJ right here. We'll give that a second to load. He's been out almost 2 weeks now. He was in quarantine for a week for health and safety protocols, and then he had to quarantine an additional 2 weeks because I'm guessing he tested positive while in the initial quarantine. Yeah, so you can see he's still on a deep dive curve, and he is almost back to, so at 270, I mean, that was his price back in November, kind of in the middle of the run-up to the NBA season. And he got it all the way up to 330 on Christmas Day. And he was playing pretty good for the most part. So to me, and this is why I like market movers. So just scrolling through here, this immediately jumps out to me that I need to do more research into MPJ to see if maybe I need to start buying some MPJ. Now, I already have some MPJ, so it's not like I'm desperate for it. But if I could find a deal on his stuff, I like him as a player to hold for probably at least a couple seasons. So I wouldn't say no to getting into some more graded MPJ. But I mean, this is quite the downturn spiral on him. His preseason prices, and to go back and actually these charts, these 90-day charts are perfect right now because this October 17th to 20th was the market low for basketball as a whole. And then it started climbing back up from this point, like you could see on this chart, peaked right around the first week of the season, and then has now been pulling back the last 2 weeks of the season. So the real question is, like, as a general NBA market chart, is the normal going to be that it leads up like this to the beginning of a season and then dips back down again on most players, but levels back out higher than the previous floor? So essentially it goes floor, spikes, establishes, goes down a little bit from the spike, but is a new floor higher than the previous floor, unless something crazy happens with the player. So you're beginning to see that here, I think, with MPJ. I'm going to guess he probably levels off. I doubt he sees 250. And then people will probably start buying and leveling him off. But he's still out like another week, I think. So, yeah, I might look into some MPJ action. Maybe not necessarily base Prism, but I will definitely take a peek at him because I feel like that has room to go up. So let's keep scrolling through this list. Ayton down 22%. Not surprising. He's just not getting enough shots. He's basically a defensive center that occasionally scores on that team. I could see him going lower, at least for a while. Maybe he has a couple big games and it spikes him back up again, but he's just not getting the run on that team. Rui down 30%. Same exact thing. I think I talked about him in last week's market update. Rui is just not featured on that team with Beal and Westbrook, and it's just really hard for him to get stuff up. And I don't know that he's that good. Like, and when I say that good, I mean like all-star level player, at least right now. He's definitely not. And I think his future might just be your random NBA role player / fourth or fifth guy on a decent starting team type thing. Because he really did it in the bubble last year too. Ja down 10%. Jordan, we're ignoring that. Of course, Jordan's up. Zion based on rest down 30%. Tatum, here's a good one. Let's take a look at Tatum's. So Tatum down 8% over the last 14. I'm going to be very interested to see how much lower he goes now that he's out. He's got at least another week. So he hasn't dipped as hard, but he hasn't been out quite as long. But once again, you see he peaked here at around 800 and some. There's a rogue day of 880. I don't know that I buy that one. But he was definitely right at 800 for most of the last few weeks. In fact, he was one of the players that had basically stayed flat in all this. But he's beginning to dip down now because he's out. SGA down 20%. He's looked pretty good, but he has the problem that he's on the Thunder. And it's not like they're going to sniff the playoffs. Not like that matters completely. But if SGA got cheap enough, I'd be intrigued. DeAndre Hunter down a little bit. I'm just looking for more like the 20 to 30% numbers. Kobe White optic base down 40%. Yikes. That's a big drop. Tatum hoops down 20. Trae Young hoops down 20. Jared Culver down 33%. Holy smokes. He's played well defensively, but not offensively. Here's a good one. I mean, look at sex land, like specifically the sex of the land. And actually, here's the land down here. So the land's down 20% and the sex is down 18%. Once again, same rule as the Ja Morant thing that we saw happen. Get hurt, not a serious injury, but you're out for a little bit. And you get a 20% drop. Yeah, look at his chart. Now, he had the big run up out of nowhere. So, but it looks like he's fallen off and is now maybe beginning to level off at the low 200s as opposed to over 300. Now, if you're a believer in the sex, go out and get yourself some sex. Because it's going to go, if you're a believer and he comes out and starts dropping tons of points again, it's going to shoot right back up again. Now, a little biased here. The Cavs have actually looked a little spunky. We'll see what happens once they're full power, but Jared Allen trade, Drummond's been playing great. Here's Garland's. His basically looks the same. It was way down here at his previous floor of around, and actually this is a silver. I'm sorry, I didn't realize that was silver. His previous floor of his silver PSA 10 prism of around $200. The land goes crazy. It jumps to 500 all the way up to 550 and is now re-leveled off. You can see here, there's almost a week's worth of data there, back down to under 400. So if you're a believer in the land, this could spike right back up again. But it looks like he definitely has a new floor. This is what we were talking about earlier. Floor, spike, goes down again, establishes new floor, and we're off and running. Jaren Jackson Jr., his stuff has just been chugging right along. And with him being out, I'm really surprised by that. The market just loves Triple J. And I kind of get it. He looked really good in the bubble and stuff, but which is the last time we saw him because it was knee injury. I just worry when he comes back, they're going to baby him. Maybe they're not, but I don't know. And there's still no timetable for his return. It's probably at least a couple weeks away, but who knows? Maybe he's back sooner. But his stuff is just straight, slowly gone up week after week after week. I mean, look at that. Just a nice, slow, steady incline. He had some weird spikes here, but in general, just a slow, steady incline the last 90 days. I mean, he's up 30% over the last 90, and he hasn't touched a basketball. Just seems a little weird. And then towards the bottom of this list, we're not going to go any farther than this 50. Just scrolling down here, we see Cam Reddish and another 8 card. His silver's down, and Cam Reddish's prism's down 30%. We talked about this on one of the other videos. The Hunter Reddish thing in the preseason. I was down on both of them. I was wrong. Hunter's looks pretty good. I would think I was right on Reddish. Reddish does not look very good. But yeah, that's just a real quick rundown of the top selling cards in the NBA market. Like I said, we didn't get into everything here. There are plenty of guys going up. If I sort this by percentage change the opposite way, of course, Kevin Knox is at the top of the page. Why wouldn't he be? So let's just real quick, and then we'll sneak out who's up the most. And sometimes this stuff gets a little weird. So Luka, Select has done really well over this period of time. I'm going to get into this on Sunday. When you look at Ja stuff, Select was hurt the least amount of all of Ja's cards. Almost his entire portfolio pulled back 10 to 20%. Select went up in some cases or basically stayed flat. But Select's been getting a lot of love on the YouTubers lately. Victor Oladipo up, trade news. KPJ up. Well, here's another one, KPJ. And this just goes to show you that at a certain point, guys not playing is almost better for their card prices because it's just all spec and hype. And then they actually hit the court and then they go down because they don't live up to the spec and the hype. And I love KPJ. So Malcolm Brogdon's been playing great. Keldon Johnson way up, been playing great. Embiid way up, been playing great. Here's Jokic up 20% over the last 14. If I pull this up and look at the last 90, he's up a ton. And once again, we're looking at the last 14 here. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, not surprising. He's been great. A lot of that's probably just the last couple days. Jaylen Brown, once again, if we pull up Jaylen Brown, I guarantee that he is up a ton. In fact, let me just change this to 30 days because that basically takes us back to the start of the NBA season. So yeah, since the start of the NBA season, Jaylen Brown, Sex, Keldon Johnson, Brandon Ingram, Brogdon, Jokic, Kobe stuff, and the land of the Sex, the back half. But yeah, look at Jaylen's chart, still going up. He's been playing great. The Joker's chart, actually a little bit slower. This is the big man bias. Look at Joker's been crushing. So's Jaylen, but look at the big spike that Jaylen got, and Joker's just slow and steady. And these pop counts are very similar. 453 for Jaylen, 499 for the Joker. So it's not like, you know, one's more rare to get than the other one. So we'll leave you guys at that. Like I said, just kind of wanted to hop on here and just kind of chat about what I was seeing in just the wide world of the NBA markets currently as we sit here in mid-January. And then we'll have the normal weekly video tomorrow. I'm going to do I think tomorrow I'll do a deep dive on Ja stuff. I kind of want to see how stuff performs tonight and through the day tomorrow on Saturday to see if it's really starting to pull back out with news of him returning. So most of the NBA stuff will probably be Ja focused in that video. We'll do a deep dive on his stuff. And then the baseball market's been really heating up. So we'll probably touch into some stuff on that. And we'll take a quick glance at NFL for just how the playoffs have been handling that. And my boy Baker and the Browns on Sunday take on them Chiefs. Actually, I'm more pumped for this game than I was last week. I was really down last week with the, Stefanski being out and Bitonio being out and all of that. And then the game started and I immediately got fired up. But just the leading up to it, I was just down about it because of all the extra stuff going on surrounding that game. And then this week's looks like it's going to be pretty clean. I just hope that it's a fun game. Obviously, I really want them to win. I just want it to be a great, fun game. But I'll probably talk more about that on Sunday on the Weekend Review show. So that's all I have for you guys today. My work schedule lightens up a little bit next week. Maybe I'll try to do another live. We will see. YouTube nonsense down below. Like, comment, sub, all that jazz. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.